So, what's going on? Sorry, been a bit lax on the old videos and podcasts recently. Stuff has been very busy, but that's not neither here nor there. So, anyway, I want to continue what we did last time. We did patterns, rules, and where you can go down in your marks, etc., etc. And we want to look at a little bit continuing tournament rules. So we go sparring today. So individual sparring, what the rules are, how you score, how you pick up fouls, how you pick up warnings, what are the criteria for winning, etc., etc. In case you don't know, and a little bit on scoreboard. I was trying to find a good example of a scoreboard, but I couldn't find one. So I'll have to kind of talk you through it as best I can, and you'll just have to picture it in your head. Anyway, here we go. So the rules for sparring are fairly straightforward. Hit the other person more than they hit you legally. But there's subtleties to that, right? So let's talk scoring first of all. How does the scoring system work in ITF Taekwondo sparring? So any punch to the head or to the body. Actually, before we go to that, let's look at the legal targets. There's 9 legal targets. Front and the 2 sides of the face, front and 2 sides of the upper torso, front and 2 sides of the middle torso. So everything above the belt everything above the belt and to the front is legal, right? So no attacking the back, no attacking the legs, no sweeps, no holding, no throws, whatever. We'll get into that in a second. So how do we score points, right? So if you score a punch anywhere above the belt, so a punch to the body, 1 point. Punch to the head, also 1 point. There's other associations and other old rules and different rules that have different scores for jumping points and jumping punches and stuff like this. Not in the ITF Taekwondo rule set that I know and that I follow. And again, like I said, these are the rules I'm looking at are the ones that come from were enforced as of the 1st of January 2005, and these are the amended rules from February 3rd, 2017. So these are the rules and understandings that I'm going by. So where were we? Punching, yeah. So score a punch anywhere on the legal target, 1 point. Kicking, you score a kick anywhere on the body above the belt, it's 2 points. 2 points for a kick to the body, right? Arms don't count. Has to be one of the target. Arms don't count. You score a kick to the head, it's 3 points. Again, other rule sets have jumping kicks worth other points. No, not in the rules that I understand and that I know. So there you are. That's how you score your points. Punch, 1 point. Kick to the body, 2 points. Kick to the head, 3 points. So how does a sparring match work? So red and blue, Hong Chong. These are your competitors. So one competitor is red, one competitor is blue. Usually marked out by sparring gear at international competitions. You'll always see red or blue. National tournaments are a little bit kind of sometimes more relaxed on this. You know, they'll have tags or flags that they'll stick to people, and the umpires will score them accordingly, or they'll switch helmets or head guards or whatever, right? But that's the way. You have a red competitor and you have a blue competitor. The time depends again for colour belts. It's 1 round. For black belts, it's 2 rounds. Again, depending on if you're junior or senior, the times will change anywhere from 1.5 minutes for juniors to 2 minutes for seniors, 2 minutes for black belts. Although that can change as well sometimes, and I don't fully have the national rules under my thumb just yet. But that's the general kind of understanding of it. It's 2 minute rounds, and you need. How do you win, right? So it's not just. Because how is this scored? So you have a centre referee who will control the match and stop it for fouls and warnings and things like that, and we'll talk about what they are in a second. And you have 4 corner judges, right? And the 4 corner judges will score the points that they can see. So if I can clearly see, sitting in my corner, a punch to the head, and I have to see it, I can't score it if I don't see it, I mark it as 1 point. If the other judge doesn't see it, they mark it as nothing, right? So I will +1 to red or +1 to blue or whatever it might be, right? In the same way, kicks to the body, I'll score my +2, and kicks to the head, I'll score my +3, right? It's then what happens is with the electronic scoring system, this tallies it and keeps track of it all the way through. And if you have the electronic scoreboard, you'll see this updated in real time. And the way this works is the competitor with the most votes in their favour is the winner, right? So the most you can win a match by is 4-0, right? As in all 4 judges saw the match in your favour. You can have matches that end 3-1. You can have matches that end, 2-0-2. You can have matches that end 2-2-1, 3-0-2, so on and so forth. Or sorry, not 3-0-2. Don't listen to me. Or 2-2-1. That's not real either. You can only have a maximum of 4. So it's 2-1-1, for example, or 3-0-1 or 3-1-0 or whatever, right? And what's this third one that I'm talking about? So you can have either a score for red, a score for blue, or a draw. So that's how a judge can see it, right? So, for example, if you imagine at the end of a sparring match, you will get red has 3 votes from 3 referees and 3 umpires, and blue has 1 vote from 1 umpire. The score there is 3-0-1 to red. So 3 to red, 0 draws, and 1 to blue, or however you want to read it. In order to win, you have to have at least 2 judges in your favour. So if it's 3 draws and 1 to you, it's an extra round, right? So if it's in the event that the game ends in a draw or the match ends in a draw, there's an extra round. So we will do an extra round in usually an extra minute, and see if we can decide a winner that way. Again, umpires will sit in the corner and score as they see fit, and the person with the most amount of points, that according to the tally, and the sum of the person with the most votes from an umpire after that round will then be decided the winner. Okay. If it's still a draw after the second round, it goes to sudden death or a golden point, or whatever, however you want to see it, right? First point wins. So in this case, it's all the corner judges will stand up. The centre referee, whenever they see any kind of action, will stop the fight straight away and call for the judges to make a decision. And if the judge saw a clear score, they'll put their flag up, red or blue, or they'll signal red or blue if they have the electronics. If they have flags, they'll put the flag up, red or blue. Again, you need at least 2 flags to win. So, and that's kind of how sparring decisions are decided and sparring matches are decided, right? So, it's not about I scored 55 points and I won 55 to 22. It's not. That's not how it works. You can win. You can score 55 points on one umpire's card, and they might have you up 55-0, whereas another umpire might have you up 2-0. It's still only worth 2 votes at the end of the final score, right? So you'll often see variation in how referees score, and naturally, right, because they're sitting in different places, they have different advantages, they have different viewpoints. So the thing to keep in mind when you see the scoreboard, the centre will have the number of votes for red, the number of votes for blue, and the number of draws. And on the new modern scores, you can see the 4 judges will have like a staggered dot per judge. So if you're ahead by 1 point from one judge, or 2 points, or 3 points, or 4 or more points, and you can see roughly, so you know how close the match is just on that. So it's not just like it's 4-0 if it could be 4-0, but there's only 1 point in it. You can tell this by looking at the scoreboard quickly. But I always tell my juniors, don't look at the scoreboard, just play your game. Seniors, when you're more clever and you can check and you understand by visually looking how to read it quickly, maybe, yeah. Still, I'm sure coaches all over the world will say, don't look at the scoreboard, don't worry about the scoreboard. But that's one thing you can tell. So you can tell how the match is running based on the scoreboard in real time. If there is an electronic scoreboard, if it's just flags and clickers in the hands or tally counters in the hands of the corner umpires, you'll never know. So you just have to play the game. The other thing that you'll see on the scoreboard is fouls and warnings, right? And this is warnings usually marked out. They were yellow on the old system. I don't know what they are in the new, but you can pick up warnings for certain infractions and you pick up fouls for serious infractions, right? For every 3 warnings you pick up, you lose a point. For every foul you pick up, you lose a point. So 1 foul, minus point. 3 warnings, minus point. If you pick up 3 fouls, you're disqualified. Straight up, gone. Sorry. Go home. Thanks very much. Hope you had fun. So, sorry. So you can pick up kind of unlimited warnings, right? It's not like if you get 9 warnings, that's the same as 3 fouls or you're out, right? You can pick up as many warnings as possible, but you can only pick up 3 fouls, right? So what are the terms and conditions around warnings and fouls, right? So let's talk some of the kind of warnings. These are sort of they're infractions, but they're not serious enough to take a point off you. So things like pretending to have scored a point. So there's an exchange and you run off with your hand in the air. Yeah, I got that point. No, we don't want to encourage that kind of behaviour. So you'll be given a warning for that. Trying to influence the umpires by, acting that you scored or whatever, right? And I've seen these warnings given, or no, that didn't hit. No, touching your glove. Not a chance, warning, right? If you step out of the ring, 2 feet leave the ring, or 1 foot is in the ring and 1 foot is out of the ring and the foot that's in the ring is lifted, that's the same thing, right? So if you step out of the ring, you get a warning. If you've been pushed out, it's not the same, right? That's a different story, right? That's an infraction on the other person, right? So, but if you step out of the ring, or there's an exchange and a chase, and you get blitzed out of the ring or side kicked out of the ring or whatever it might be, that's still a warning for you, right? When you get that warning for leaving the ring, you're brought back in 1 meter and you reset from where you left. If you fall down, whether intentional or not, right? And this is the one that people often sort of, when they first play the game, they go, "What? But he kicked me over." And it's like, yeah, well, them's are the breaks. So if any part of your body, apart from your feet, touch the ground at all, it's considered falling down. So it's a warning for loss of balance, right? If you fake an injury to run the clock down, to gain an advantage, another warning. If you're running away or intentionally avoiding sparring, we see this especially at young grades where they turn their back, they turn their face away, turning away, trying to avoid sparring, right? You can move, and you have to face up. I say this to my students all the time. You have to face up as you move. If you just run away from your opponent, it's a warning for you. So if you keep turning your back, and I said, especially at young grades, when one competitor is much stronger than another, often we see this exchange, turn away, exchange, turn away, exchange, and the warnings just rack up and up and up and up. But so you have to face up against your opponent. You always have to face up to avoid turning away for avoiding sparring warning. You don't want to pick up a warning for avoiding sparring. So it's actually written in the rules here. I just noticed this. Using the center referee as a shield is considered avoiding sparring. So you grab the referee and put him in your way. I don't know. I'm assuming that means moving around the ring to position the center referee in front of you, right? Unintentional attack to an illegal target. So if you above and below the belt. So if you kick the leg by accident, can you kick the leg by accident? Maybe you I don't know. As you go for the dolly-o and they switch their stance and you tag them in the back, it's unintentional. It's a warning. You shouldn't hit you should have control not to hit the illegal targets, right? So unintentional attack to an illegal target warning for you. If you adjust your equipment, here's the one that we don't see given a lot, because an awful lot of time people will flick their helmet or they'll pull their glove or whatever it is, and technically maybe that's a warning. So if you adjust your equipment without the consent of the center referee, it's a warning, right? So this is again to stop people running down the clock and wasting time. Oh, hang on, I have to do this and I have to do that, and oh, my gum shield is look, and all of this stuff, right? So that's also considered a warning. If you push with your hands, your shoulder, or your body to create distance or to unbalance the opponent, or push them out of the way or whatever, like this is also a warning. So pushing, no pushing. You get a warning for pushing. So these are the kind of infractions that you can pick up warnings for. That are, and 3 of them are pick up 3 warnings and you get you lose a point. The common ones are, leaving the ring, loss of balance. These are the ones we see the most of. You don't really see them. The other ones, well, you do see them, but these are the most common ones, right? So minus points and fouls, right? So these are gamjung hana. So the warnings, jubi hana, and fouls, gamjung hana. Hand goes up, spin the finger, minus point. Heavy contact is the first one. So anything that the centre referee and the JP deem to be excessive contact. Contact made without any attempt to control the technique or with the intent to really deliver damage, or it's written here, the technique, the delivery or the technique or the emotion of the competitor. So, those shots where there's actual malice in them, right? These are not out to score points, they're out to do physical damage to somebody now. So this is heavy contact, excessive contact, right? We can play competitively and we can play, we can spar competitively, and we can there'll be a very big difference in the contact level between 2 senior black belts at international level and 2 junior yellow belts, right? We have to kind of use our discretion as umpires there, what's constituted as heavy contact, right? But the main point is, this is Taekwondo. We're scoring points. We're not out for knockouts, right? Things can happen, but heavy contact is a foul technically in ITF Taekwondo. Attacking a fallen opponent. So if somebody loses their balance and then they're lying on the ground and then you decide to take the head off them, yeah, minus point. In some cases, you might see people go straight to the JP and say, well, what did you think about that? And there's grounds, I don't know, maybe if there's grounds for disqualification or something, but if there's real malice in it or something. But if you attack somebody with any part of your body when they're on the ground, it's a foul, right? You can't hit a person on the ground. Sweeping is actually a foul, leg sweep. So if you take the feet off your opponent with a sweep, it's you grab the leg and you sweep the other one, minus point, right? Holding or grabbing, retaining any part of the body, and this is this wasn't always a foul, and it caused a lot of interest when it became a foul. So any kind of holding, so in the exchange for people running the grab, it's to stop this kind of clinch that we see in boxing or in Thai boxing or even in WT where they grab the hogu or whatever. But also it stops us from grabbing legs in side kicks, holding gloves when people are, I've seen it in the past, people hold onto people and just box the head off them at the side. So it's to stop this. So no holding, no grabbing. That's a minus point. Intentionally attacking an illegal target. I actively target your knee with a side kick. Yeah, foul. Not allowed. Right? And then the kind of last key foul is kind of unsportsmanlike conduct, right? And this is kind of self-explanatory. You know, actions taken by a competitor that shows disrespect or any of the, things like, bad language, scratching, spitting, these kind of things, failure or refusal to follow the referee's directions, intentionally leaving the ring, these kind of where it's it's unsportsmanlike conduct. Don't be I'm not going to say it, but common sense, right? So I think these are the main kind of things you get fouls for. There are some further things we should talk about, which is disqualification. I just come across it here now that I see it. Disqualification may be issued for the following offences, and I'm assuming this is at the discretion of the jury president. So misconduct against an official or ignoring instructions. So if you have a go at the centre referee, you're guaranteed to be thrown out of that match and probably never invited back again. Uncontrolled or excessive contact, so you completely flip your lid, and see you later. 3 minus points given by the centre referee. Automatic disqualification, we covered that already. Being under the influence of alcohol or drugs, makes sense. Loss of temper, so failure to control your behaviour, your words, or your emotions, right? So you lose the rag. You insult your opponent, or a coach, or an official, or any disrespect, verbal or otherwise, to anybody. Biting and scratching, what are you doing? You can't bite people. We're not animals. Elbows and knees or headbutts, these are all disqualifications. There's no elbows in ITF sparring. There's elbows in ITF Taekwondo, just not in ITF sparring. There's knees in ITF Taekwondo, just not in ITF Taekwondo sparring. Being negatively responsible for causing loss of consciousness. So if you being negatively responsible for causing a loss of consciousness, momentary, short-term or long-term. Negatively responsible. If you are responsible negatively, I'm assuming that means knocking people out or being knocked out yourself. No, has to be in relation to other people. Actively trying to knock somebody out, disqualification. Yeah, that seems to be. It seems to be the way, and it's up to the jury president to give the DQ. So they're kind of some of the rules and regulations around ITF sparring. They're all up on the ITF Taekwondo website. You can have a look at them there, as well as some of the hand signals that the umpires will use and so on and so forth. It's interesting when you see, because there's a few subtleties to the game. It seems very straightforward on paper, just hit the other person more than they hit you. But then when you think about all the little regulations around how you can do it, there's food for thought, and you can use this knowledge of your rule set to kind of really game your approach to how you're going to spar, right? If you know you're physically stronger, maybe you can play for warnings on the other person by pushing them with sidekick and chain, pushing them to the edge of the ring and help them pick up a few warnings. If you know you're up at the end or it's a close match and you can't afford to take another warning because it'll give you the third one and you'll be down a point and that could flip the scores. These sort of stuff, all of this comes into ring craft and strategy and all of that when you're sparring, and that's a whole other side of it. But they're the kind of key rules of sparring and how the warnings and fouls and disqualifications work, as well as how you score. A little bit on the scoreboard again. I don't have a picture of it. If I ever find one, I'll do a follow-up video on how to read an ITF Taekwondo scoreboard. But for now, it's not really important. So hopefully you find some value in these kind of rules and these kind of videos around competition rule set. I have been saying about our patterns competition recently as well, or not competition, our patterns feature, for want of a better word. We have 3 international umpires scoring your patterns. Send us your patterns. We will send it to the umpires. They will return you a score based on tournament criteria. You'll get your level 1, 2 and level 3 breakdowns. I know it's not level 2 and 3. It's you're in pattern scoring. You're level 1 for your sine wave and power, or your sine wave and rhythm, and you're level 2 for power. And you get your score and you get your breakdown and you get some feedback. So we've had a few videos come in, we've had some scores come back already. I'm gonna, like I said last time, I'm actually going to put out the bios and the umpires that are helping us next few days, and then we'll start to put up a few videos that we're seeing as well. And I must get around to doing a pattern myself because I want some feedback too. So if you want feedback on your patterns, send them to us and we'll get them off. And yeah, that's it. That's our story for tournament rule set. So we'll go on a little bit. I have some interesting ideas around rhythm and sparring that I might want to explore in the future, but that is a discussion for another time. So if you're finding value in this, please give it a share, give it a like, give it a subscribe, all of that. And yeah, we'll go from there. If there's anything you want discussed or covered, please drop us a comment and we'll see what we can do for you. Okay, cool. Thanks very much. See you soon. Bye bye.